Danger! Go no further! Danger! Danger's death will bring honor. Danger will die!
Ever wanted a first-person action RPG set in the Might and Magic universe? Well, now you have it. Dark Messiah is a truly peerless game that, while it didn't exactly age like wine, still holds up perfectly. Its quirks are something that could have made a lesser game bad, but it pushes its engine to the limit to create an amazing combat system that is extremely fun to play. This is one of those games that everyone should find enjoyable. I'll tell you why. Let's start with the beginning. You're Sareth, the apprentice of Fenrig, a wizard that raised you since childhood, tasked with delivering a crystal to Menelag, wizard and lord of a distant city. You have a creature named Xana implanted in your mind to guide you and give you gameplay advice, and you will get acquainted with Menelag's niece, Lyanna. The three of you are the main characters of the story. You'll embark on a quest to stop Arantir, a necromancer with nefarious plans in mind. And that's the premise. I'll pick up the story later. One thing you should know about Dark Messiah is that it isn't your typical RPG. For example, you can pick up the weapons of any enemy you kill, so loot anything you can to sell it later, right? No, there's no merchant or gold or even dialogue options. You do get optional objectives to complete and a handful of choices to make through gameplay. What you do have control of is your character skill build. All characters start the same way, and as you gain experience you'll be able to invest the point in these trees. You can mix and match as you want, but there are essentially three different gameplay options. Stealth is the first one, not just to stealth kill, but since XP is given by completing objectives instead of killing enemies, you could move undetected through some maps. I don't know why you do that since combat is the best part, but the option is there. In addition, there's the utility of picking locks, which can reveal some additional loot. The combat perks are pretty straightforward but very useful. I find this build to be the most fun. Then there's magic. You start with the ability to see in the dark and you have the option to unlock several spells, roughly divided in offense and utility. Now most spells are great, for example there's one that makes you invulnerable and you can keep casting it as long as you have the mana. Mages are the one that suffers the most from the I may need it later syndrome. Don't be afraid to chug potions during combat. However, investing too heavily on spells isn't worth it. You'll find plenty of scrolls that allows you to cast them, and some weapons, bows in particular, have magic bound to them. Moreover, you have no way of increasing the damage of spells, so unlike weapons, they can feel a bit meek in most situations. You're better off relying on the environments for kills.
Danger's death will bring honor to family.
You might have noticed this game runs on the Source engine. In case you don't know, it's the Half-Life 2 one. It's renowned for its physics. They are of course used for puzzle, but they're mostly there for combat. You're able to pick up most items and throw them at your enemy. The most powerful tool of your arsenal is the kick. It normally won't do much, but if there's a pit or spikes or a fire behind the enemy, it will send them flying towards it. The physics are also the reason for the ice magic being the most fun to use. It can never conquer gravity. They make the game so fun to play. You're constantly trying to lure enemies near traps or tricking them into pointing their backs at an inexplicably placed wall of spikes. On the other hand, by dealing damage normally you build an adrenaline meter, where in full you can insta-kill with most weapons and spells get a buff. I thought I'd play at the highest difficulty to maximize how much I had to rely on these mechanics, but by the late game you can die pretty quickly, so it's not for everyone. I'd still recommend it though, maybe for the second playthrough. Exploration too is an important part of this game. There are plenty of secrets to be found, and while some of them are just extra consumables, others are rare weapons or armors. The game tries to give you more than one way to find a specific item. This means that you could find duplicates of items you cannot equip anyway. It may however happen once or twice to find a place that seemed like it should be a secret, but it's just empty instead. There's a lot of platforming, but rather than being just jumped, the game includes rope climbing. You get a rope bow that can attach a rope you can climb on to most wooden objects, which is way better than jumps because they can be a bit finicky. Plus it adds an element of choice to it, since you're able to use ropes as you please. Unfortunately, sometimes they can bug out and send you outside the map, but if you wait for them to stop jiggling, then there should be no such problems. Now the world you'll be playing in is really flavorful. As I said before, it's set in the Might and Magic universe. You'll be fighting human, orcs, undeads, necromancer, goblins and everything in between. Cyclops in particular will be recurring many bosses that will also serve to showcase how far you've come since killing your first. The characters are all pleasant to listen to.
Show some skill before I kill you.
And the enemies in particular take the cake. I like how they won't be able the same way. Goblins, for example, will taunt you when they think they're safe and beg for mercy when they get scared. While humans will only retreat when they're about to die to call for help. As for recurring characters, you have Xana, the voice in your head, to make inappropriate comments throughout the game.
I'm Liana, Menelag's niece and pupil.
Niece? Pupil?
Arantir torments you in your dreams.
We are all part of a much greater dance, my dear. I've simply performed the steps for longer than most.
Liana's sweet and innocent, and the juxtaposition between her goodwill and Xana's malicious comment about her is really fun.
The temple is overflowing with energy. I feel like I can lift a mountain.
Try lifting a door instead.
Oh, please,
Sareth too can deliver some pretty hilarious lines.
please, follow me.
With pleasure. I mean, yes. Excellent. How do we get there? How? Tell me quickly. Come on.
The approach should be clear. Your pretty little friend can come on board without becoming a pretty little pincushion.
I'll just lower the pretty little gangplank then.
Sarah.
And lastly, there's your father. Spoilers ahead. So when you launch the game, there's a cutscene about a prophecy. A man born from a demon lord shall free him from his prisons, and together they shall conquer the world. So turns out you're the chosen one. Fenric and Menelag knew, and Xana's revealed to be some kind of demon. Later on, she gives you the ability to transform into a demon yourself at the cost of constantly draining life. You're the bad guy then. Does it mean the necromancers are the good guys? Well, he is trying to stop you from conquering the whole world with an army of demons, but he's not exactly above mass genocide. Arantir tries to justify his slaughter of innocents that way, but I don't buy his talk about mages and necromancers being two sides of the same coin. You have a choice of purging Xana from your body, effectively having to choose between Xana in the demon form or Liana and the best weapons in the game. This is also the point the game started crashing. Your mileage may vary. Then you get another choice at the end between freeing your father or keeping him imprisoned. It only changes the final cutscene and not much is shown either way, but I like the choice. Campaign done. Unfortunately the game only had this to offer. As I said before, the game's very replayable because of the multitude of secrets to find and variety of playstyles. Expectedly, however, the multiplayer's long dead. Maybe you can get it to work with a friend, but don't expect to find other players. Except the platforming bugs, the game runs perfectly until the last 2 levels. Oh, and there's a bug that reset my brightness, nothing too annoying though. So while I hesitate to call this game a masterpiece, I think it's very fun, and personally I took the first excuse ahead to replay it. It's only €5 on Steam and I recommend it wholeheartedly. Buy it if what I've shown so far seemed fun, if you like the Might of Magic universe, or if you're a Portcullis enthusiast.
Portcullis.
Portcullis!
Portcullis.
Portcullis!
Forget her. Run!
Yes, run, you abomination. I will find you.
Okay, that was Dark Messiah. Join me next time as we try to understand the mysteries behind Wargame and the later Steel Division. In the meantime, feel free to suggest any game down in the comments. See ya!